Have you ever talked to a chatbot and felt like you were chatting with a real person? Or have you seen a computer write a poem, a story, or even computer code? If so, you've met a large language model, or LLM for short. Think of an LLM as a super smart computer program that has read a gigantic library, basically a huge chunk of the internet. It has learned the patterns, the connections, the rhythm, and the rules of human language. This isn't just about memorizing words. It's about understanding context, grammar, and even a little bit of creative flair. It's science, and it's changing our world in some truly remarkable ways. Now, why should you care about these digital wordsmiths? Well, LLMs are becoming a fundamental part of our daily lives, much like the internet itself. They power the search engines that answer our most curious questions, help customer service agents respond faster, and even assist doctors in summarizing complex medical records. They are tools that can boost human creativity and productivity to new heights. Understanding how they work is like learning how a car engine works. You don't have to be a mechanic to drive, but knowing the basics helps you use the tool more effectively, and maybe even fix a small problem or two along the way. The year is 2025, and the importance of LLMs is only growing. Businesses are using them to create new products, scientists are using them to accelerate research, and artists are using them to explore new forms of expression. Learning about LLMs is not just for computer scientists anymore. It's for anyone who is curious about the future of technology and communication. It's a skill that can open up incredible career opportunities and give you a front-row seat to one of the most exciting technological revolutions of our time. It's a chance to be part of building the future one word at a time. This guide is your starting point, your friendly map into this fascinating territory. We're going to break it down step by step from the very beginning. We won't get bogged down in impossibly complex math. Instead, we'll focus on the core ideas, the practical skills, and the sense of wonder that comes with understanding how a machine can learn to master language. So get ready to explore. The world of large language models is vast and full of possibilities. Let's dive in and see what we can discover together. Consider the following. Our first step on this amazing journey is to learn the language of computers. For LLMs, the most popular and friendly language to learn is Python. It's known for having a clean and simple syntax, which means its rules are easier to read and write compared to many other programming languages. You don't need to become a world-class Python expert overnight. Start with the basics. Learn about variables, loops, and functions. Think of it like learning the alphabet and basic grammar before you write a story. There are countless free tutorials and courses online that can get you started on your Python adventure. Once you have a handle on some basic programming, it's time to dip your toes into the ocean of machine learning. Machine learning is the science of teaching computers to learn from data without being explicitly programmed for every single task. There are a few main types. There's supervised learning, where you give the computer labeled examples like pictures of cats labeled cat. There's unsupervised learning, where the computer finds hidden patterns on its own. And there's reinforcement learning, where the computer learns by trial and error, like a dog learning a new trick to get a treat. Next, we zoom in on a special part of machine learning called natural language processing, or NLP. This is the field dedicated to helping computers understand, interpret, and generate human language. It's the bridge between our world of words and the computer's world of numbers. Before LLMs became so powerful, NLP involved tasks like figuring out if a movie review was positive or negative, or identifying the names of people and places in a news article. Understanding these foundational NLP concepts is crucial because LLMs are, at their core, a giant leap forward in the field of NLP. Getting comfortable with these three pillars, Python, machine learning fundamentals, and basic NLP, will give you a solid foundation. You'll understand the how and why behind the magic. This isn't about memorizing definitions, it's about building your mental toolkit. Each concept you learn is like a new tool you can use to understand and eventually build things. Take your time, be patient with yourself, and remember that every expert was once a beginner. The goal is to build a launchpad from which you can soar into the world of LLMs. Now that we have our foundation, let's peek inside the engine of a modern LLM. The key technology you need to know about is called the transformer architecture. Introduced in 2017, this design was a complete game changer. Before transformers, models processed text word by word in a sequence which could be slow and made it hard to remember information from the beginning of a long sentence. The transformer, however, can process all the words in a sentence at the same time. This parallel processing power is what allows us to build such massive and capable language models. It was a monumental shift in thinking. The secret sauce of the transformer is a mechanism called self-attention. This sounds complicated, but the idea is quite intuitive. When you read the sentence, "The cat sat on the mat and it was fluffy," your brain instantly knows that it refers to the cat, not the mat. Self-attention allows the model to do the same thing. As it processes each word, it looks at all the other words in the sentence and decides which ones are most important for understanding the current word's meaning. This ability to weigh the importance of different words is what gives LLMs their deep understanding of context. With this architecture, different types of models have emerged. You've probably heard of GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. These models are fantastic at generating human-like text. They are trained to predict the next word in a sentence, which makes them great for writing, summarizing, and creative tasks. On the other hand, you have models like BERT, which stands for Bidirectional Encoder Representations from Transformers. BERT is designed to understand the full context of a word by looking at the words that come both before and after it, making it excellent for tasks like search and analysis. Understanding these core components, the transformer architecture, the power of self-attention, and the difference between models like GPT and BERT, demystifies how LLMs work. It's not magic, it's just very clever engineering built on these foundational ideas. You don't need to know every single mathematical detail, but grasping these concepts will help you understand why one model is better for a certain task than another. It gives you the why behind the what, which is a huge step toward mastery. Now let's get our hands dirty. Knowing the theory is great, but the real fun begins when you start building things. The best place to start your practical journey is with a platform called Hugging Face. Think of it as a giant playground and toolbox for anyone interested in machine learning. It has thousands of pre-trained models that you can download and use with just a few lines of Python code. You don't have to spend millions of dollars training a model from scratch. You can stand on the shoulders of giants and start experimenting with powerful LLMs right away. Your first project can be simple. For example, you could build a small application that performs sentiment analysis, determining if a sentence is positive or negative, or you could create a simple text generator that finishes your sentences. Using the Hugging Face libraries, these tasks become surprisingly straightforward. The goal here is not to build the next world-changing AI, but to get a feel for how to load a model, feed it some data, and get an output. This hands-on experience is incredibly valuable and will solidify your understanding in a way that reading alone cannot. Once you're comfortable with the basics, you can explore more advanced topics. One key area is fine-tuning. This is the process of taking a general, pre-trained model and training it a little more on your own specific data. For example, you could fine-tune a model on legal documents to make it better at answering legal questions. We must also consider the ethical use of LLMs. It's vital to think about issues like bias in the training data, the potential for misuse, and how to create AI systems that are fair and helpful for everyone. The journey doesn't end there. The field of LLMs is always evolving. Exciting new ideas are emerging, like retrieval augmented generation, which allows a model to look up current information from a database before answering a question, making its responses more accurate and up-to-date. Another important area is model optimization, which focuses on making these giant models smaller and faster so they can run on phones or laptops. Staying curious and continuing to learn is the key. The world of LLMs is a grand adventure, and you've just taken your first most important steps. Now go be a world changer.